After 3 months of oceanography and 2 professors, we still don't know what waves are. We made this informative video to help us understand. Maybe these servers will give us an insight on what waves are.
Lumps of vibrations, which causes the ocean to shake. Waves.
Many different wave types, which we can classify by 3 things: the generating forces, the wave height, and the period of the wave. Here we have some of the main wave types. First we have capillary waves, which are generated by light winds. Over here we have chop waves, which are generated by bigger, faster wind. Swell waves are generated by massive winds. Siege waves are generated usually in storm conditions. Tsunamis are mainly generated by large earthquakes. And tidal waves, or tide waves, are usually generated by the gravitational pull of the sun and the moon.
What makes waves? There are 2 main types of waves, gravity waves and standing waves. I will talk about what makes these types of waves form and give some examples. It is important to remember waves are a transfer of energy, not mass. Firstly, gravity waves. Wind causes waves on the surface of the ocean. Wind transfers energy to the water through friction. Therefore, stronger winds form bigger waves, such as during storm surges. Because it is a transfer of energy, not mass, waves do not move horizontally, but only vertically. You can see this by watching a buoy or boat in the ocean moving up and down with the waves. Next, standing waves. Standing waves are waves that remain in a constant position. This occurs when energy is moving in different directions. For waves of equal amplitude, traveling in opposite directions, there is on average no net propagation of energy. This is shown in the diagram.
There are 3 main types of interference waves. They are constructive, destructive, and complex. Constructive interference waves is represented as H1 plus H2. This is where H is the height of the waves. So if 2 waves meet at the same point, the total wave height will be both that of the original wave heights. This constructive interference is what helps makes the massive rogue waves out in the middle of the ocean.
Solid. I'm recording. 3.
I got squiggle breath.
3. 3, 2, 1.
Destructive interference is when 2 waves meet, but with different crest points. Instead of increasing the overall height, the size decreases. The reason for the decrease is the mismatch in crest heights. In this case, the trough matches the opposing crest. This action will have less variation and makes crests and troughs both smaller. Complex interference is where the waves have different wavelength, so at some stages the crests are at the same point, but also match up with troughs. This means the overall pattern of the water is quite varied.
Waves. Waves are the transfer of energy, not mass. Waves do not move horizontally, they only move up and down. Energy is generated from wind blowing across the surface. The anatomy of waves. The anatomy of a progressive wave includes the crest, the highest point of the wave, and the trough, the lowest point. The wavelength is the distance from one wave's crest to the following wave's crest. Wave height is the distance from the trough to the crest. Wave period can be calculated by the time it takes the second crest B to reach where the first crest was A. Wave frequency is the number of wave crests passing a point each second. That was just my practice.
In this segment I'll be talking about internal waves. Internal waves occur when low density water sits atop high density water, such as this cake, white being the low density water and pink being the high density water. The internal wave can be seen through this white frost right there.